stand, let's pray, please. Lord, we appreciate the day and we appreciate the rain we've been getting. We finally caught up and we appreciate the sunshine. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. See if we got a quorum, Shelley. He is. I saw him. I think he's still to the office with you.
Are we ready?
Yes.
Denise Taylor.
Here.
Keith Austin.
Here.
Buell England.
Honey?
Jack Baker. Harley Buzzard. Joe Bird.
Money.
Sean Crittenden. Don Garvin. Frankie Hargis.
Present.
Wanda Hatfield. Rex Jordan.
Here.
Dick Lang.
Honey?
Curtis Snell.
Here.
David Thornton.
Honey?
Victoria Vasquez.
Bonnie.
David Walkenstick. Brian Warner.
Honey?
We do have a quorum.
Okay. Before we get started, I do want to announce, we announced it in rules, but for those that don't watch both tapes, Jack Baker is attending the Oklahoma Historical Society meeting today. He has been nominated as president of that society, and that's why he's not here with us today. We needed 2 Jacks today, we only have 1, so that's why he's not here. So I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes from our February 22nd meeting.
So moved. Second.
Or, actually, that would be our
March
March.
21st.
Yeah, yeah. You still in for that, Frankie?
Yeah.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Okay. I see Sean Slayton in the back of the room to report on C&B for us.
We're reporting on February and March. I'm sneaking March in because it was better than February. Most years, January, February, and March are best years. This year, the government delayed the tax refunds until mid-February, which meant they didn't get them till the last of February. So we were a little below what we've done in the past, but we turned that around in March, and I believe we were almost $3 million more than what we were March of last year. So
Good.
April looks steady. It's not a home run like March, but certainly holding its own, and proud of the businesses. The diversified businesses we hope, are getting ready to bust loose with things getting settled down at some point in D.C. So projects that we've got going on would be finishing up the Hard Rock Pool, I believe this week, and turning that over to operations. WRD is either done or close to being done. The repair on the water leak is progressing very nicely. We should finish floor 3 this week and turn it over to operations on, I believe, May the 3rd. And then floor 2 should be done about a week after that. So appreciate the hard work the construction companies are doing and making a special effort to put us back in business there as quickly as possible. We are making tentative plans to begin exploring what we're going to do with the sprung structure. It's fast approaching the end of its projected useful life, and so we'll be working with operations on that and update you as we decide, what direction we want to go there or feel that we need to. So with that, I'll conclude and be happy to answer any questions.
Oh, I'm sorry, Sean. You need to be more obvious. Go ahead.
John spoke to a speaker earlier this week about maybe getting some representatives from C&I, the employees, to maybe present to us or, have a little meeting with some folks. He wanted me to kind of bring it out here, the step before we put that on the agenda, and kind of get a feel of different things. What do you think, Speaker?
I think probably what we could do is get a small group of council members, maybe meet with these people, see if we can't get some of their questions resolved. And anybody here that might want to be part of that, then Sean, then we can just set up a meeting, see what their concerns are.
Right.
That would be the first step.
You have to facilitate that meeting or set it up?
Yeah, would you, and see how many, would be want to be involved in that.
Okay, okay. Just kind of do that, just check with him later, kind of deal?
Yes.
All right. Sounds good, thank you.
We have any other questions for Sean? Oh, okay, yes, Councilor Buzzard.
Sean, on the joint on the entertainment there,
Yes, sir.
who books those shows? I've had some, they weren't complaining, but they're just saying, we haven't had the quality of shows we've had years past. I
Right.
thought, well, I think they've changed it. Whatever you do, whoever books those shows.
Well, the person that was doing that retired, basically, and moved to Florida, and has since gone to work contract with the Creek.
That's what they told me,
So-
and they have some good shows over the creek.
Yes, sir, and they're paying for them. And so, without getting into strategy, we're happy with what we're doing, and we're still bringing good shows to the joint.
Well, they
But
just,
we're not going to break the bank to do that. And we're not going to get in a bidding war with
yeah, they're-
other people. So we bring shows that fit our demographic, and we've been very successful doing that.
well, I guess the next question is, you brought those shows before, and now you're not bringing them.
That's
So
right.
is that the reason the guy might retire?
No, the reason is we don't want to pay the price that those acts are going for now.
Before we did.
But before we did, because we were the only game in town, there wasn't any competition back and forth on pricing. So
Kind of makes some sense.
we think so.
You guys are handling the books, not me, so you guys are doing a good job, so I can't argue with it.
Thank you. Yes, the Hard Rock has far exceeded what we hoped it would do this year. And we appreciate the effort of the staff and the marketing group, and certainly Mark Fulton and Gary and their leadership.
So who does book the shows now? Is it somebody locally, or is it a company?
I think
or what?
Mark is handling that with some of the people that are in-house, One of the things we try to do is train up the next generation, and sometimes they can take it sooner than other positions, and sometimes they need a little more nurturing. And I think that's where we are with that.
How is the Grove Casino?
Grove's doing good, yes, sir. It's not hitting quite the budget we thought it would, because we really didn't know. But, we've always said that's a seasonal summertime
Yeah.
venture there, but it's doing good. We're happy with it.
Good. Thank you.
Anything else for Sean? Councilor Thorpe.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Sean, I want to commend you for the renovation of WRD.
Thank you.
It's something that we both and all of us, needed. They needed that, and we wanted to see it happen, and you made it happen, and I appreciate you doing that. And I think that your people over there should instill, more pride over there, because I think they were down a little bit, and I think that'll help a bunch, and I appreciate you very much on that.
You're welcome, Miles.
I would, when Roland Casino was first built, there was a plan to go ahead and build on a theater there, a joint, kind of small one.
Phase 2 or Phase 3? Yes, sir.
Yeah, and we really need it over there bad. When they bring somebody in there that's a good entertainer,
Right.
we've got people standing plumb out and down the aisles and around the card tables,
Right.
and just VIPs can go inside, at
Yeah.
the bar. So if y'all take a look at that and see if it will help,
Okay.
I'd appreciate it very much.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Sean.
Anything else? If not, appreciate you. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
We'll see you next time.
Whiskey.
All right, Lacey will bring us a report, the treasurer's report.
Good afternoon. So we have finished our 2016 single audit. So you have already received your comprehensive annual financial reports, but the single audit is the audit that's required by the federal government for the federal awards that we receive. And so that was issued late last week, and we would like to have the auditors appear at the next council meeting. We're going to try to coordinate with their schedules to have them present that as well as the comprehensive annual financial report to the tribal council, if that would meet your...
The ENF meeting or at the council?
Yes, ma'am.
ENF?
ENF.
Okay, sounds good.
And we continue to monitor the 2017 federal budget, and we've gotten word that being that the continuing resolution is going to expire tomorrow at midnight, that there should be a continuing resolution for 1 week that will take us through May the 5th as Congress sort of hashes out this omnibus bill that they have been putting together that we're told should potentially increase some discretionary spending, as well as increase defense spending as well. So most of the information is embargoed. We don't really have any true clarity into what kind of budget Congress is going to pass, but it does look like we would have that clarity by the end of next week. We have the 2018 comprehensive budget process underway, and we issued a memo a few weeks back asking for the departments to prepare their budgets. Again, we've asked for flat budgets, being that we don't know what the federal award levels would be. They would be submitting their budgets to our office on May the 19th. And today we received notification that the Cherokee Nation was awarded a Government Finance Officers Association Award, the Distinguished Budget Presentation Award, for the 2017 comprehensive budget. And so this is the third consecutive year that we've received that. And this takes into account the presentation that we make to tribal council and the deliberations that you all have during that process. And so I want to say thank you to the tribal council as well as Chief Baker for setting our priorities, and our budgets office who works so diligently in putting that all together. And with that, I'll be happy to take any questions you might have on the report or otherwise.
Counselor Walkenstick.
Lacey, the IHS dollars, so what's your prediction on when those are going to fall for water sanitation?
For water and sanitation, I've not gotten an email on that just yet. We were kind of looking for that a couple of weeks ago.
I emailed Billy Hicks, and this may be a need that you guys are getting in your all's districts, because it is mine. And had Billy run the numbers. He said just Cherokees alone, there's 200 applications. He said out of 200 applications, he said there's $2 million worth of projects. So my question is, this may be a really dumb question, but is there any way, could we float the money to fund these, and then when IHS dollars come back, put the money back in to the gen fund through IHS? Is that legal or is that illegal?
I would have to check. Some grants that's allowable. Some grants it's not. So I don't have an answer for you on the IHS dollars.
So the carryover dollars,
Yes, sir.
that we're going to be approving, is there any way for us to put money into that account today? It don't have to be $2 million, but a substantial amount to get us started, and maybe in wherever the time frame is to when those IHS dollars are going to come in, and just float that money temporarily. Is there a way we can do that, or is there money available? I'm just trying to take care of this because I'm getting a lot of phone calls on this water sanitation. And
I understand the concern, and I know that the discussion had been around waiting until the Indian Health Service dollars came through, because we're very close. We know that. It's not here yet.
it's been close for a long time, Lacey. Long time.
But this is
Like
about
months.
the time of year it comes, and I can't help what the federal
I
budget
know.
process is doing.
I know. It's not your
At
fault.
the same time, carryover is what it is, and we use that to fund our programs and $2 million that we would take from carryover to, as you say,
Reserve.
float this program in advance, could potentially be a problem for other programs.
What about our reserve dollars? We put some of those reserve dollars over into there to float the program temporarily?
From the cash reserve,
Yes.
that would be unprecedented, and I
I
would not
think-
advise that.
What's the minimal amount for cash reserve that by our law says we have to have?
I believe it's
Percent
1.5% of
What is it right
the,
now?
how much is in there right now?
No, what percent of the cash reserve is in there right now? Is it 3%, 1.5%, 5%?
So how the cash reserve is calculated is it's 1.5% of the operating budget of the nation
Okay.
at the beginning of the year.
Okay.
And it's supplemented by a $5 million line of credit. So whatever that 1.5% less a $5 million line of credit equals the amount of cash that is in the bank for our cash reserve.
Okay. I wonder, Joe, you know what our cash reserve is percent-wise?
Well, we fully funded.
So we're at 1.5%.
Yeah.
So we can't take any more money out of there? Is that what you're saying?
Not out of that.
The cash reserve? Okay, that's my question.
Funds, but we couldn't.
Not the cash reserve.
Right.
Okay, that was my question. Well, I don't know what a solution is. I mean, it's a problem, and I know you guys discussed it probably in y'all's doors with the chief and Secretary of State and everyone. And, I don't know. Thank you.
Chief Byrd?
Yes, I have some of the same concern as Councilor Walkenstick. Even if we could take care of our elders that are trying to move into homes, that's all they're waiting on is our water and sanitation. If we could just do that with some of this carryover we're talking about. I know we discussed that 2 weeks ago, and I think the national budget is going to operate off of continuing resolution again, and that's the word. So that doesn't get us any relief, but these people are waiting, and we as a council, we're going to have to make a tough decision here really, really quick. We can't ride this out too much longer. So we may have to come back and call a special meeting if we don't get any relief within the next 10 days.
Specific to water and sanitation.
Yes.
Would you both allow me to do the research and see if this is even a project that would be allowed to sort of forward fund with our own general fund dollars in advance of federal funds coming? Because I mean, I want to make sure that we were
Yes,
legal on
sure.
that.
Yes, would you please, and get with our legal and see if that's something, just give us some options and not just sit here and wait on the federal government. You know what happens when tribes wait on the federal government?
Sometimes
we
our
have to
money
walk.
comes.
Yeah, sometimes we have to walk about 1,200 miles.
I understand that too.
You're a landstone.
Okay. Anyway, would you please do that?
Yes,
Give
sir,
us some options.
absolutely.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
You're welcome. Okay, Harley Buzzard?
And I'm just gonna echo the same thing that these two gentlemen have said, because you hate to hear that, when the person calls and tells me that, well, they told me I don't have any money, they're broke. Well, don't they're broke, you just don't have any money from the IHS yet. They do it, but what's gonna happen when they get the IHS money, they're gonna be so covered up that it's not gonna last 3 months, 6 months. They'll be gone again, and we're gonna be hearing the same darn thing, I'll guarantee you. So, and I know, Lacey doesn't control when the dollars come out of IHS. Sometimes it may come in late February, and I've seen it come as late as the middle part of May, so you just never know. And I know it's a situation that we don't like to tell people that we're broke, and I wish they wouldn't tell them that. You know, we could say, well, we're waiting on the IHS, let's blame it on the IHS people, so.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's a problem. Yeah, we'd thank you if you could work out something like that. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Yes, Counselor Walkenstick?
I would like to entertain a special meeting within 10 days. That might give Lacey enough time to figure out if it's legal or not, and set it up and try to get some money appropriated for water sanitation.
How about if we did a special meeting? When are we back? On the 15th?
Yeah. I mean, it's in,
You're gonna meet the 16th.
Yes.
So I
Yeah.
mean, it's almost in 10 days.
Okay.
Almost
Let's
in
give
10
her a
days.
And
chance.
I would like to see, I mean, I believe we're going to be on another week continuing resolution, but I would really like to see if, a miracle could happen in Washington DC tonight. We could have a new budget.
Could we put a special E&F meeting
possible.
attached to the 16th?
Next day.
We have ENF the next
Are we
day.
going back to back in May?
Yes.
And that's in 18 days.
Okay,
So
that's enough time.
if we could just, can you tell us that, maybe get with Billy, check to see if there's anything that we can do? Because I asked for some money from carryover to go in water and sanitation, and I was told just wait and see what happens. So I think this is something we're all concerned about. So if we could just explore some options, that would be great.
Jody might have.
Well,
some.
I'm just going to mention, you wouldn't have, we already have a budget mod that's going to be on that council meeting. So if we know that day, we can actually do a substitute mod.
Is the E&F
That-
before tribal council or day after tribal
It's
council?
day after.
Day after.
It's the day after.
We need to get those funds approved through tribal council.
Well, I mean, we already have a budget mod that's going to be on the tribal council, so you could do a substitute mod that night at tribal council.
Okay, gotcha. I'm with
Right,
you.
you don't have to have another E and
Okay,
F.
I'm with you. Okay.
Good.
Chief, do you have anything to add to this discussion?
Yeah, I really do. But,
I could tell.
we don't know what Congress is going to do. There, on that mod is some money for Billy to take care of the elders with their fixing their septic tanks and those kinds of things. And I'm hoping for the best, but we got to plan for the worst, folks. And if we start taking reserves and all of a sudden IHS healthcare dollars are what's at risk, I mean, we're gonna have some tough questions. And sewer's important, but it ain't as important as maybe medicines and those kinds of things. Until we get our budget, until we know what Congress is doing, folks, we need to draw in our belts. And it's not our fault that IHS hasn't brought those septic tank dollars forward. But we need to keep our powder dry. And we need to be prepared to make those really, really, really tough decisions about what's the most important thing that we can do for our people. And septic tank is not life and death. We might be making some life and death calls here before long, folks. And so I just ask you to be patient, and maybe we'll know something by council meeting time. But I'd sure hate to dig into that reserve, we've been there, Joe, when we had to take every dime we could get to keep the hospitals open. I just saying, we really need to not just jump off blind with because it sounds like it's a big reserve, but it won't last long. It won't last hardly a payroll. So I'm just,
Does CNB got some money that can float our way?
CNB's been given a 65% of their profits for the last 5 years.
Okay.
By law, they give us 35. They've been given us 65. So, I'm
Just idea, just throwing it out there.
if everything goes to heck in a handbasket, we'll look at every hole that we possibly can. And I'm not trying to be gloom and doom, folks. I'm just saying, right now is the time that we really need to keep our powder dry until we find out what Congress is going to do, until we find out what these programs are going to do, so that we stay strong and healthy and moving the ball forward. So let's not jump out on water and sanitation when there could be some things that end up being more important than water and sanitation. Wait.
But you still will give us some options, Lisa?
Yes, sir.
Yes, okay. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
I like that idea a whole lot, Counselor. The folks, they see a lot of things going on in the Cherokee Nation that, if we're gonna hunker down and be watching every penny, there's just and some folks I deal with, and I feel the same way. Somebody might bring me the light and I might see it. But if these times are so tough, where does the travel that our people see go on all the time? And I'm just gonna go out on a limb and say not all of it's necessary. Some of it, I think, septic tanks are more important. So, that's what I wanted to say. I mean, if it's hunker down time, I think everybody should too. Thank you.
Anybody else have a comment regarding the budget or anything? Okay, hope you have better news next time.
So too. Thank you.
Thank you. I know it's a tough job. We appreciate what you do for us. Okay, moving on down to Diane Kelly. Always good for some good news.
Putting you on the spot.
You never disappoint.
Well, I don't want to be gloom and doom, but I will tell you this. We have put in for 2 reentry grants. The last one went through Lacey's office and it was sent today. It's a reentry grant. One was for $1 million, the other one was 1.5. We hope to hear sometime in May for the first one that went in, and we hope to hear sometime the latter part of May or the first part of June on the other one. So, we're out here trying to get federal dollars to bring in to offset some of our stuff. So that's what we're trying to do with our reentry program. I want to introduce some people I told you that would be here. We've got John Overacker. You all remember John?
No?
John.
Who's that? Is that
Okay,
Creek?
John's back. We told him when he left he would be back, and we won our bet. Anyway, John's going to be working with our apprenticeship program. He's working as a special projects person. He works directly under me. He's here in this office. He'll be working with Barney in the Taro office, and he'll be working with WC, and we're going to be working with all the major businesses that are actually going to be working on any of the construction projects. They will actually have to certify for apprenticeship, and then we will be actually the sponsor. And he'll be working with them on the hours, and then we'll also be working with the classroom aspect of it and the curriculum. Also, Teresa Chukalate. I think some of y'all remember Teresa. Where you at, Teresa? Teresa is going to be working with our Cherokee CareerConnections.com. It's our website. She's going to be doing this full time. That's all that woman's going to be doing is any phone calls coming in, any resumes that come in on the computer. That's what she'll be doing. She'll be also working with our HR office, CMB's HR office, on any people that are wanting to move back here from the area that have various types of college education or vocational training. We'll be getting their resumes and we'll be referring those on. And we'll also be posting information about jobs that are open out there. Like right now, Robert Garcia came by the other day and said they're going to be hiring at Greenleaf Nursery. He told me about a position they've got. We'll be posting that and trying to make referrals for him. So, the businesses are coming in and they're asking us for help on referrals, not only here in Cherokee County. We're getting them in Delaware County. We're getting them up north. So, all is well as far as jobs. Anybody that wants to work can get a job, and we'll help them. Another person I want to introduce is Isaac Bernarski. He came to us from the state workforce, and he's working for us in our Sallisaw office. And he's a native of Vian, Oklahoma, and we were real excited to get him because he's got a wealth of knowledge on the Teagle that we actually have to work with. So we were glad to get him. Also, our org chart for the Taro office was approved, and I'm meeting with the Taro staff tomorrow. Part of the staff are going to be working for Barney in the commercial side of Taro. The other are going to be working for Willard on the administrative piece of it. Willard will have the responsibility of working with the ACT, EEOC, and anything to do with the reports for Davies-Bacon or any of the EEOC reports, and he'll also be working with the office staff and the certification process. Barney and his group will be the ones that will be working with all the bids and working with the commercial side on any of the construction. So Councilman Lay or Councilman Buzzard, if you have questions about anything to do with any of the projects that we've got going, Larry Vance is your man. And Willard will be the one that will be here for the committee meetings, and he'll be the one working with the certifications. So I hope that kind of clarifies. They were kind of in limbo because they were in an acting capacity. Now they're official, so there you are. But they are in the process of moving their office. We're looking at the old housing rehab, which is their circular building that's on the other side of the casino operation. It has several offices in it, and it has a little more potential. We have the fire program. We've got several fire pieces of equipment, and we're kind of housed in several locations. I've got some staff sitting over here behind the motel, some that are at Southgate, some are behind Southgate, some are sitting down here at the complex, and we're looking at moving our buildings trades, our fire program, Tarot, Job Corps outreach recruitment, and Jan Grogan's program with the nursing program, and Ben Buckskin with our NAVTEP program, all of them up there in that one building. So we see it as a cost saving for us, so we don't have so many people doing various things. And with some of the budget crunches going on, we're trying to do our fair share by conserving that, so we're trying to move everybody together. One of the things that we're doing with buildings trades, I talked to the buildings trades instructor, Mike Perryman, and Mike said that they're doing a lot of ramps on referral, and they're putting out somewhere for the elderly, they're doing 2 to 3 ramps per week. I didn't know if you knew that or not.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to tell you how many they do some weeks, but they're doing quite a few referrals, and it's through the housing program. So just want to share that with you. Let me see. We will have a tarot presence in Pryor. Christine Rogers, who is out working in our Tulsa office, will be in the Pryor area 4 times a month. We see Pryor as a viable area because of where it's located, and some of those people from the northern area can go down there and they won't have to come all the way to Tahlequah or go all the way up to Tulsa. And she'll be there 4 days a week. And then we also have moved one of our recruiters out to the Sallisaw office that's there part-time, so that we can capture that Arkansas area. So we're moving some of our staff out to some of the field locations so that we can see more clients and pick up some of the numbers. Let me see. Oh, Matt Lamont, we moved him from Pryor to J. So he is from Little Kansas, and he is working in our J office, and he takes care of that northern route, which goes all the way up to South Coffeyville. So we're trying to get them out in all the different locations so that they're in closer proximity. One of the council members called us about the pipe fitter agreement. We signed, the chief and my director signed an agreement with the Union Hall 798, which is located throughout the United States of Oklahoma. They have an office here in Tulsa, and Local 798 is working with us to develop a program so that Native Americans can actually be there at the table whenever they start working on the pipelines that come through. Those are good jobs, they're good paying jobs, and anybody that wants to work and be relocated, they can actually follow them throughout different parts of the United States. So we're kind of excited about it, and they told us that we were the first tribe to sign an agreement with them, so we're excited about that. And we know that there's going to be some good jobs. We've had a lot of people come in and inquire about whether or not we're going to be there to help them get their foot in the door. So I'm here to tell you that we are. And I want to thank the chief for taking time out of his busy schedule to work with us on that agreement last Friday. And some of you council members that were there. I know Councilman Buzzard, I think Councilwoman Vasquez. I can't remember who else was there. Councilman Byrd. I don't remember who else was there in the, Councilman Austin, I think you were. But thank you guys so much for supporting it. We appreciate it. Had an opportunity to visit some of the northern area businesses. We worked with AST up in Delaware County, and we've been working with them for probably about 2 years. Got to go up and tour their plant last week. It was very exciting. We got to see the work that they're doing and the contracts. They only have a small number of employees, but when he told us how much the contracts were, that they were actually going all over the United States and even abroad, and how much they're making on those water silos or whatever, I couldn't believe the amount of money that he told us. So that told me that some of those people up there are probably making some good money. And we appreciate all the support that Anna gave us in helping to get that sewer line going, and all the support that all of you all gave us to help with getting that going. And I know Lacey got to see it firsthand, so it's kind of rewarding to see where some of the money is actually going and where it's been and who's actually getting the benefit from it. And we got to see a lot of good tribal members working there. And we've got a resource book that we're doing with the state workforce for Muskogee, Sequoia, Adair, and Cherokee County. And we had a meeting this morning over at Job Corps, and we've got staff that are working on this. And when we get them going, we'll get copies of it. This was something that Eastern Workforce is kind of supporting, so just want to share that with you. If you're asking about other counties, this was not just us.
Does anybody have any questions for Diane?
Diane, I'm amazed at how much you always keep things going in your department.
If you're busy, you stay out of trouble.
Yeah, and you know, and we
Or
told,
anyway, sometimes I
and
do.
you know, you've raised these boys, Overacker and Rob Darty. You know, when they moved, I said, guys, you'll be back within a short time. Their baloney's not as good as ours, and within a short time, there they are back.
Well, we got tired of looking at John Overacker. He was coming down to my office with them little sad puppy dog eyes. I thought, well, I need to put a smile on his face. So I told him, I said, you'll just hang tight. We'll have something for you.
It's good to have them back.
Just kidding, John.
We appreciate you, Diane. Thank you. All right, Anna, if you can follow that, you know, have at it.
Piece of cake.
Well, yes. I can just say that we do the same amount of work in a shorter amount of time. So I'll be faster. So you do have the copy of the report in front of you. I do want to just note the loans, we are just halfway through the year, and we've approved $2.5 million in small business loans, which the most we've ever done last year was 1.5. So I appreciate everyone's help, but stop getting the word out there because we don't have we maybe have another $1 million that we can make in small business loans this year. But it's going well. It's creating jobs out in the communities. We're also going to start trying to bring the Kawi Cafe down to the Cherokee Nation complex one time a week to try to sell lunch.
Yeah.
So trying to increase some revenues there. In the traditional games, we got a request, so we're now playing Chunky. So that's kind of exciting. We had our Youth Entrepreneur Day. I want to thank Diane and Taro. They always help us out with that and sponsor that for us. But we had about 37 plans in Claremore today from 46 students and 42 business plans in Tahlequah earlier this week with 68 students. The number of students is down. The number of schools are down. The schools can't afford to bring their kids to these types of events. In the Tahlequah event, Vian again was the big winner. They always bring a bunch of people down or people up. And then Sequoia High School, and this is the first time that Sequoia has had so many people enter and actually play. So other than that, I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
Anna, I know with Jay, you guys worked through and got the sewer installed plant. What about the paving contract? Have we started pushing to get a contractor in, and also the lighting? Hector grant.
We're going to do the roads first.
Okay.
And I just got this week approval from USDA for a sole source contract. We're going to work with the county commissioners. So we save so much money by partnering with the county commissioners. And then the lighting will be done by PSO because they own the lighting system. And so we'll just pay for material cost in that instance too. And the lighting will be, it'll happen after the roads are finished.
So we're getting ready to start moving a little bit.
Michael Lynn's handling the roads, not me, don't be.
So if I have any questions about where it is, call Michael.
He is the one that's going to handle it, working with the county commissioners and keeping track of it, so yes.
Contract. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anything else for Anna?
Good report, Anna.
Thank you.
as always. Thank you. See you next time.
All right, let's move on.
Okay, who's here from Tara? Oh, there you are. I'm sorry, Willard, I didn't see you. What?
That'd be somewhere 4:30. We better remove it.
Well, we're done with reports, Chief,
Okay.
so we're just moving down to consent items.
Okay.
So I just want to know, the ones in the book are complete?
Everything's complete.
Okay.
Move for its approval. Second.
Got a motion and a second for the Taro certifications. All those in favor? Any opposition? Okay, Jody gave us a new community assistance listing. I hope everybody looked over their donations to be sure that you've got everything you need. Yes, Counselor Warner?
Yes, ma'am, thank you. Jody, Flute Springs, community building, 500. Southsaw Public Schools, 750. And Southsaw Main Street Organization, 1,000. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other additions or corrections?
Is this on community assistance?
Yes, sir?
Yes.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to approve the community assistance list. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? You also got a new law enforcement list. Quickly look over those, see if they've got everything that you wanted. And then I would entertain a motion to, yes?
I need to add $4,400 to the RSU, Roger State University Police Department.
We did the homeless shelter.
Okay, any other additions to law enforcement?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion and a second for law enforcement. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Okay, roads projects.
Jody, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Do you need to talk to Jody?
Yeah. On the roads projects, I submitted for a project in Collinsville, and I can't seem to locate it here. Do you know?
Michael did mention today that there's several projects he's trying to get worked out.
Okay.
But unless it's an emergency, we'll probably be on next month's, because this comes in like 2 weeks before the meeting date, so,
That'll be on the 18th?
yeah.
Isn't it the
It'll be the
16th? Isn't it-
16th of May.
Isn't it the 16th, next ENF? May 16th.
If it's something you know the amount and we need, who it's for and everything, we could add it today if you think it's an emergency.
Well, it has to do with their schedule for, their work schedule, because their goal is, it deals with the school property, and once the school releases in May, they need to be able to move very
Right.
quickly. So, I'm trying to remember the amount.
Well, actually, you guys actually approved if there was something that was an emergency for him to go ahead and work on something and get it on the schedule then. So if it's, you can work with him and,
$62,000 for the combined project with the city of Collinsville, Collinsville Schools and Tulsa County.
okay, I'll get with Michael then and make sure, like I say, if he can go ahead and start working on, working out the process and everything with them and we can get the exact funding, the breakout and everything, we'll put it on next month's schedule, but we can get the process started so it won't be a delay for you.
Okay, any other discussion on your roads projects?
Good.
Frankie?
Motion to approve.
I have a motion and a second on the roads projects. All those in favor? Okay, there was a list of sports teams.
Any changes there, Jody?
No, we did have a report in there, in the mail. I know, you guys probably know Carla's out today with the family deals. We don't have there's probably been a few added, but we can go ahead and approve these, so.
Motion to approve.
I've got a motion and a second on the sports teams. All those in favor? Okay, and I know there was a list of livestock, and were there any, looks like
Yes.
there were a few additions on that. And I just need a motion to approve those.
So moved to approve.
I have a motion and a second for livestock. All those in favor? Okay, we don't have any old business on new business. Warner, would you take that first one, please?
Ma'am, this is an act amending Legislative Act 22-16, authorizing the comprehensive capital budget for fiscal year 2017, Mod 5, and declaring emergency. And I put that in form of a motion.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on that budget mod?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Buzzard.
I guess I've been used to Jody giving a brief description of what we're doing. I'd like to have that again, you know.
You betcha.
I think we missed something last finance meeting, but Jody is real good about where he's transferring those dollars, so I'd like to hear just a brief example of what we're doing here.
Okay. This is Mod 5, there's 4 budgets on the capital. First item's the Jack Brown Center construction. It's a modification requesting a decrease in the expenditure authorization of $2,928 for carryover reconciliation, and that results in a transfer out of $34,037 to the health art purchases, and the transfer out to the Muskogee parking lot repair remains at $283,035. And with the new carryover and transfer out, the total's $317,072. Item 2 is the Veteran Center capital projects. It's a modification requesting a decrease in expenditure authorization of $145,198 for carryover reconciliation. The expenditures are increased by $15,612, and the transfer out to the tribal complex construction is reduced by $160,810. And the new carryover and expenditure totals are $82,273. Item 3 is the Tribal Council House under capital projects. It's a modification requesting a decrease in expenditure authorization of $1,385 for carryover reconciliation and transferring out the remaining $148,615 out to the tribal complex construction. Item 4, tribal complex construction. Modification requesting a decrease in expenditure authorization of $708,337. It's offset by reduction in carryover and increases in transfers. There's a carryover reduction in the carryover revenue of $4.8 million. Transfer in, reduce in the transfer in from the Veteran Center of $160,000. The transfer in from the Tribal Council House, $148,000. Transfer in from unappropriated reserves, that's over on the operating budget, coming in for $4.1 million. And an overall reduction in the construction expenditures of $708,000. And the new construction and artwork expenditure total is $8,083,950 for this year.
And
Go ahead, Harley.
And the reason I wanted Jody to do this is so, for me, so I could see where these monies are going. And Jody agrees that everybody in this Cherokee Nation puts a lot of money in these reports. I know I was there at one time, and I put a lot of time in those reports, and I'm like, you know, we need to pay attention to what's being written in here. I know before the last few tribal committee meetings, we passed these with no explanations. And so I think we need to pay just the respect to the people that make these reports. They put a lot of time in these reports, and you know, I don't think it's fair to them, because I know when I worked here, I put a lot of time and effort to make sure they were accurate. So anyway, that's the reason I want Jody to make an explanation on the report. Thank you.
Councilor Lake?
Jody, on B3, Tribal Council House, does that zero that out?
Yes, sir.
And I'd like to have further explanation too. Sometimes these things just fly by and you check it and go on, and it's the next order of business. Thank you.
Anything else?
Well, just one other thing. And I'm not griping about artwork. I like artwork just as well, but Take a look at this figure for artwork here. Thank you.
Okay, all those in favor of this budget modification indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay. Brings us to item 2. Frankie, where have you got that there?
This is an act amending legislative act 2316 authorizing the comprehensive operating budget for fiscal year 2017 mod 7 and declaring an emergency, and I put that form of a motion.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Jody, would you like to go over that for us?
Harley, you would pick the month that there's 20-something budgets in.
I think
so.
there's some interesting dollars in there.
I would note in the Section A of that, the grant reporting, there was I kind of have a little section there on the cash match for grants, and there's actually another one going out this month in the April reporting for a model tribal citizen, $6,967 going out to that grant out of the cash match funds. Section B, mod 7, it's 23 budgets, requesting an increase in budget authority of $21,709,681. Item 1, Cherokee sports team funding. This is the same request last year. We've been budgeting $70,000 for that, and we're needing a little bit more money every year, so we're budgeting $80,000, putting in another $10,000, bringing the total to $80,000, and plan on increasing just our starting budget for next year of $80,000. So hopefully they'll keep us covered on that. Item 2 is the charitable contributions modification, requesting an increase in expenditure authorization of $58,750 funded from general fund carryover. It's $30,000 is for the Cherokee Nation Foundation at-large scholarships. It's related to the housing accessibility program, where we're doing the match, additional funds there for the two at-large council members instead of the housing accessibility. They're giving larger at-large scholarships, and also there's a little bit of a carryover in one of the special projects that didn't get done that need to be funded this year. That brings that expenditure total to $1.6 million plus. Item 3, Indian Child Welfare, Child Protection. It's modification requesting an increase in expenditure authorization of $30,500. It's funded from general fund carryover to purchase equipment upgrades and licensing. Their new expenditure total is $2.3 million plus. Item 4 is Miss Cherokee. It's a modification requesting an increase in expenditure authorization of $3,016, and that's funded from a CNB donation for them to attend the Unity Conference. Item 5, Tribal Youth Council. It's a modification requesting an increase in expenditure authorization of $17,654, and that's also funded from a CNB donation for them to attend the Unity Conference.
Jody, on that, explain that to me a little bit. All right, it's 3,016
Right.
to go to the conference.
Right.
CNB's
given a donation of $3,016, but it's basically a wash, but you have to approve to increase the expenditures.
Okay.
Even though it's basically a wash because we're getting the money in, but you still have to approve the increase in expenditure authorization. Item 6, Secretary of Natural Resources. It's a modification requesting an increase in expenditure authorization of $150,000 from general fund carryover to hire experts related to the Sequoia Fuels case. Item 7, unappropriated reserves. It's a modification requesting an increase in expenditure authorization of $19,773,644. Includes $15 million plus in the reserve by appropriation. a transfer out of $150,000 to minor emergency repair that's in item 15, and $4,141,315 transfer out to the tribal complex construction that's over in the capital mod that we just went through. There's $20,641,449 carryover revenue brought into this budget, and after you take all the expenditure authorizations out, and then there's $967,805 revenues that goes to the budgets within this modification for items one, well, a list of items there. Item 8, burial assistance, modification requesting an increase in expenditure authorization of $40,000 funded by general fund carryover for additional service needs. The new expenditure total is $218,000. Item 9, individual water and sewer, modification requesting an increase in expenditure authorization of $33,555 that's funded from general fund carryover to provide aerobic system service repairs to an additional 161 clients within the tribal jurisdiction area. The new expenditure total is $633,555. Item 10, housing accessibility program. It's modification requesting an increase in expenditure authorization of $325,000 funded by general fund carryover per the original budget agreement, and that brings the total to $650,000. Item 11, senior nutrition services. It's a modification requesting an increase in expenditure authorization of $50,000 funded by general fund carryover for increased food cost. The new expenditure total is $399,211. Item 12, tribal council. Modification requesting an increase in expenditure authorization of $170,000 funded by general fund carryover for an additional $10,000 community assistance for each council member. The new expenditure total is $2,254,000. Item 13, land development. It's modification requesting an increase in expenditure authorization of $63,468 funded by hay and buffalo sales for additional supplies and updated salary for previous vacant position. The new expenditure total is $1,160,770 with net expenditures total remaining at $497,302. Item 14, Junior Miss Cherokee, modification requesting an increase in expenditure authorization of $3,016, also funded by CNB donation for the Unity Conference. Item 15, minor emergency repair. It's under the motor fuel tax, modification requesting an increase in expenditure authorization of $150,000 funded by a transfer in from the general fund carryover. The $150,000 will be subgranted to the Housing Authority. The new expenditure total is $537,735. Item 16, indirect cost pool recovery. It's a modification requesting an increase in IDC recovery revenue of $668,579,000 to balance out the increased expenditures in items 17 through 20. The new IDC recovery total is $31,532,000 with the IDC revenue carryover remaining at $8,593,000. Item 17, human resources, modification requesting an increase in expenditure authorization of $66,585 for additional contract services related to the maintenance agreement for a new human resource software program. The new expenditure total is $1,168,000. Item 18, accounting, modification requesting an increase in expenditure authorization of $203,907 for additional contract services. It's for the SAS internal controls audit that was previously done by CNB audit team, but now we have to go outside and to an outside firm and with additional cost. Item 19, information technology. Modification requesting an increase in expenditure authorization of $194,663 for an executive chief information officer position with a related salary, fringe, and operational expenditures. The increase is partially offset by other income of $141,512 from CNB reimbursements, with the net expenditure increase of $53,151. Item 20, office services reimbursement. Modification requesting an increase in expenditure authorization of $344,954 for increased phone costs. The new expenditure total is $2.9 million. Item 21, competitive projects under DOI self-governance. It's a modification requesting an increase in expenditure authorization of $18,925 for one-time funds received related to Tar Creek. The new expenditure total is $201,000. Item 22, self-governance housing improvement program under DOI self-governance. It's a modification requesting an increase in expenditure authorization of $25,145 for additional one-time funds received. The new expenditure total is $162,000. Item 23, health art purchases under IHS self-governance health. Modification requesting a decrease in expenditure authorization of $23,101. It's from a decrease of $2,928 that was reduced transfer in from Jack Brown Center construction funds, and $20,173 related to decrease of carryover funds.
Okay.
Back to
Councilor Lake.
second.
Jody, on 19, the information technology position,
Yes, sir.
is that a new job coming up, or has it already been filled, or do we know?
I believe it has been filled. They're just funding it out currently out of current funds.
Current fund?
Yeah.
Is it a tribe side job or business side job?
It's a tribal side job that's been partially, we're being partially reimbursed from CNB for.
So what does that person do?
Well, it'll be, we currently have like information.
I can speak a little bit
Okay.
towards that.
I kind of know some of the details, but she probably knows a little more about it, so.
The individual will be, because there's a reason that they're working with CNB, because our IT departments up to this point have not capitalized on the economies of scale between both entities. So when the nation goes out and buys 50 computers at one time, maybe we could combine with CNB and combine purchasing with them and buy 100 computers at the same time. So this individual will be sort of working with the CIO at CNB to sort of truly bridge that gap between Cherokee Nation and Cherokee Nation businesses to make sure that we're getting the best deals and that our purchasing power is combined, if you will.
My thoughts are, we've got a lot of these mixed positions now, and I don't know if they know who they work for half the time. Do they work for us, or do they work for CNB? And when they work for CNB, all of a sudden, salaries are pretty high. And you don't see them much on the tribe side in the complex. You see them at Catoosa or somewhere. So where does this person bivouac at?
Sorry, what was the last word?
Where's this person office at?
That's a new word I haven't heard. His office is here in Tahlequah.
So if CNB is paying part of his salary, the thing I'm asking is, does he work for us or them?
For Cherokee Nation. He's a Cherokee Nation employee.
And so that position's already filled.
Yes.
Looks like a great job, so thank you, appreciate it.
Any other questions or comments? If not, let's vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? I know we have at least one announcement.
No, we have a 4:30 meeting, council members. Why don't you make it? It's pretty important that we're there at the tri-council on this one resolution that we need to address.
You might say what building and where we're going. for those that
Willis
don't know.
Road West, first building you run into, Bill Rice Building.
It's not marked though.
No, just once you run into West Willis Road, you'll run into it. Look for Victoria's car there.
To the grounds.
I do want to, I was notified earlier today that our Chief Financial Officer at CMB, Doug Evans' father, is gravely ill. So if y'all would remember him and his family in your thoughts and prayers, we'd appreciate it. I'm sure they would appreciate it. Yes, Counselor Lake?
We're going to have a work group meeting after this one, but I think that's been superseded.
I think we'll have a tri-council work meeting after this.
Motion to adjourn.
Got a motion? Excuse me?
Who will handle rescheduling that work group?
It's in good hands. Let's adjourn.